The vibes are incredible right now. Immaculate, some would say. This was a high-level, playoff-like intensity, atmosphere, electric at Chase Center. Pistons, one of the hottest teams in basketball, and the Warriors weathered another storm. This one needs a thorough breakdown. You're going to get it right now on Locked On Dubs.
Who cares now? Because I'm here, and I would like to think that I am wanted here.
Most importantly, he a dog.
We got 4 championships.
You are Locked On Warriors.
I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
Your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Speculation is just what it is, though.
Your team every day.
Oh, happy Saturday, or whenever and wherever you're listening to this podcast. I hope you are having a wonderful day. If you are a fan of the Detroit Pistons watching this show, you've got a hell of a team. That is a squad that is coming. Unfortunately, the Warriors, they're here right now. They sweep the Detroit Pistons, winners in the game. A big win, to say the least. This is Locked On Warriors. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name's Charlie Walter, formerly at 95.7 The Game. That's the flagship station of the Golden State Warriors in the Bay Area. Also covered the team in their title run. Saw their championship in Boston in 21-22 for CBS News Bay Area. We got a newsletter. It's LockedOnDaily.com. We got a sponsor. It's FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Charlie Walter, check us out on YouTube and wherever you get your audio podcasts. All right, Kolsky, to the fun stuff. Golden State Warriors get the victory, one that was back, and it was fourth the entire game. It did not feel like a team really grasped a stranglehold on it at all. I thought there was a clear Pistons momentum shift late in the game. What would the Warriors do? They weathered every storm. That is what they did. Excellent basketball to win it. 115-110. The two teams had identical records entering this game. In fact, two very even teams. When you look at what they've been doing the last month or so, it was what? Both teams 8-2 or something like that in the last, or 10-2 in the last
I think
month?
it was 10-2, and then also they had the exact same record. I think overall, like you said, a really good win for the Warriors, a team that's playing just as well as they are, and the Warriors get it done without Pods out there, without Kuminga, obviously. It feels good, and there were so many things about the win tonight that felt like they speak to what this team is now that it wasn't a month and a half ago, and I just think you're starting to see it come into focus. Butler has 26 tonight, but it wasn't the 26. To me, it was the fact that he had 24 through 3 quarters when Steph Curry wasn't having his best game. And how many nights this year was that happening, and the Warriors, instead of being within a few points, were down 10, and Steph had shot the ball an extra 7 times because there's nobody else to do anything. Butler just kept them in the game for 3 quarters, especially in that third, and Steph took them home. And that's a recipe that sounds really nice to me.
Down the stretch, man, there were so many. We talk about the lasting images from games and what you're going to see in the newspaper headlines. If you're still getting the newspapers flung to your door, what you would see is the picture of Guy Santos after a little energy late in the game, and one tip-in foul. It was like Russell Crowe and Gladiator. I mean, the bucket was incredible. The one-handed, fadeaway tip-in as he's falling over. Gets up, goes nuts. Fan base absolutely loves it. A minute later, Isaiah Stewart pokes the bear, literally, with 6 minutes to go. Just pushes Curry for no reason at all. We'll get into this double technical. How is it a double technical on Curry? But the Warriors down 1 with 4 minutes to go. Curry had been 6 of 20. Chucks up a deep 3 that really had no prayer. The only prayer that he had is that the banks were open late in the Bay Area, and they were. Banks it in. I thought the Warriors had it at that point. Then the Pistons go up 3. Then Draymond finds Steph cutting. Another and 1. It's tied up. 90 seconds to go. Butler with 1 on the shot clock. Short corner contested. Mike Breen, bang, from Butler. That was a big one. Then it's the Cade Cunningham show. We'll get into Cade Cunningham, just an electric basketball player. Draymond responds down a point with a big-time three, and that is how the Warriors win it. A game they would have lost in January is one that they win in March. This team's becoming battle-tested. They are handling all the adversity thrown their way. It's time to believe, folks. If you're not on board already, it is time to believe.
Well, we're going to put that to the test really soon. Not Monday, but starting Thursday, they have a really tough 4-game stretch that I think is going to tell us a lot about this team. And boy, I would like to see Jonathan Kuminga get on the floor by Thursday for that stretch of games. But yeah, so much to take in tonight. One thing, like Guy Santos is the reason you win this game without Brandon Pajmsky out there. Not only, I think he had 15 in the end, he did end up fouling out, but just
6.
I mean, Billings, our Kalena replacement tonight, is it Monique? She made the point, like, he's just pure energy out there, and he's worth a good 3 or 4 extra possessions for your team. I mean, the difference that a guy like Santos is able to make should be an inspiration for every edge of the league player in every sport, in every league, in every sport. Like, how many Guy Santoses, exactly as the same size and athleticism and talent of Guy Santos, have fallen just short of the NBA because they're just not capable of that level of energy and hustle. It's awesome to watch, and you root for a guy like that. And that play,
that was awesome.
It was awesome. Like, I think it speaks to the Warrior fan base as well. Like, I don't know how many places the 10th man can pull that off. The, like, walk away and pound your chest and rile
like
up the crowd.
Like, are you not entertained? Like, it was an incredible moment. And the sky camera too got the entire crowd in the background just eating it up. I mean,
if I know the camera people at the Warriors game, there's going to be some tremendous stills from that moment. He had a hell of a game, and honestly, he's had a hell of a season. Like, it really does feel like he earns them an extra 3 or 4 possessions every time he gets in the game. And you, especially for a team that can be careless with the ball, you can't overstate the value of that.
And think of kind of the role that he's taken over. I mean, not that they're similar players at all, but in terms of like 10th man size, it was Kyle Anderson, right? A completely different type of player. You're not putting
the opposite
in Anderson,
yeah,
right? So he's been kind of a nice little spark plug to throw into the lineup. And this is another one of those games, man, where it shows that the Warriors can beat a high-level team, because the Pistons, even with this loss, 35-29, they are trending upward. Like, this is a really good basketball team. This is a Piston squad that is on the rise, and you beat them shooting 12 of 41 from deep. That's 29%.
Yeah, good young team, and you saw a lot of the reasons why. I mean, obviously, Cade had a good game, not an incredible scoring game, but you see what he's capable of. Sees the floor
in the third quarter. I mean, that's
yes. I mean, I'm just saying, front to back, it wasn't his best scoring output, but he is smooth. He really sees the floor well. He can do just about everything. He's a little bit of
turnovers.
A poor man's LeBron, if you will. Yeah, they defended him well. But the Lesser Thompson twin is just as much of a defensive demon as his brother, and they got a lot of talent in Detroit. You know, Jalen Duren always gives the Warriors problems, that kind of size and athleticism. But that's why this is such a big win, is how well that team's playing, the level of talent they have, the fact that there are some serious matchup problems on that team for the Warriors. You know, it was,
down 2 men.
Yeah, you're shorthanded. You got to feel really good about this. And just in general, the fact that it hasn't been perfect with Jimmy, you know, far from it. Like, there have been plenty of bumps in the road within games, But they're what, 10-1 when he's on the floor since he got here? It's just that one weird loss in Dallas, which I almost don't even want to count. Like, the fact that they have, even though it hasn't been perfect, even though there have been some hiccups, they haven't been out of a single basketball game, and they've managed to close all but one down the stretch is so encouraging heading towards the playoffs. But you see, without Pajmsky and Kuminga out there, they're good enough to beat a tough Pistons team in a tough game. They're not good enough to do damage in the Western Conference playoffs. So it remains the challenge to get this team healthy and see what it looks like with all of its parts for a couple weeks before they head to the postseason.
All right, we've broken down how this one went. It was the 9-0 Warriors run out of the gate. They looked good. Then it was just back and forth. Pistons up by 4 at halftime. It's a 1-point game. It's a 3-point game. It was never really a distant game. It was close the entire time. Very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
How did the Warriors get this win? Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, the lead catalysts. We're discussing coming up.
And most importantly, he a dog.
We need more dogs.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Prizepicks. Basketball season's heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prizepicks. With Prizepicks, you pick more or less on at least 2-player projections. You have a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use. It's available in over 30 states, and it lets you mix and match projections across basketball and football, baseball, whatever it is. Building lineups, like I said, pick as many players as you want, more or less, quick and easy. Less than 60 seconds, fast payouts, little as 15 minutes, no waiting around. And Taco Tuesday deals, where Prizepicks discounts select player projections up to 25% on Tuesday. That's value. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, run your game. Let's get back to the show.
Destroy Jimmy and Domino's. I know Jimmy drinks great wine.
All right, so the Warriors are, man, they just continue to try and distance themselves in the Western Conference, but the Minnesota Timberwolves keep winning, nipping at the heels. We were talking about the LA Clippers as kind of the team that was the barometer that the Warriors needed to catch, and we thought we were going to be keeping our eyes on the Clippers all season long. No, forget the Clippers. You look at the Western Conference standings, all of a sudden the LA Clippers are down at 34-29. They're a game and a half back of the Warriors right now. It's the Minnesota Timberwolves who are a half game back, and the Phoenix Suns playing better basketball, but that doesn't mean they are winning basketball games. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Mavericks, no Kyrie. Mavericks, no threat. I'm not too worried about the Kings, although they are 7-3 over their last 10. So let's get into why the Warriors won this game. We got the standings watch coming up on a slow day. This is not slow by any means. They were able to win this game specifically due to the play of 3 guys, in my opinion. And it was a team effort. We just mentioned Guy Santos. They couldn't have got the win without him. I thought there were some moments in the first half where Quentin Post had some big buckets, a little floater, and then had a nice pass backdoor. But the shooting night, not great, including an air ball late when they needed it. He was 0 of 5 from 3. But the 3 players, Steph Curry, 32 points in the game, 12 of 12 from the line, just 4 of 15 from deep. It was not his best shooting game, but he did some damage late, like I said, with the and one and with the banked in 3. They needed some buckets late. Curry was there every time. His usage rate out of control today. And then Jimmy Butler, star of the game, 26 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, kind of found his shot. I mean, he took 4 threes in the game, knocked down 2 of them, pulled up from the mid-range, was feeling pretty confident, got to the line 7 times, hit 6 of them. And then Draymond Green, 12, 9, and 7. That looks like your typical Draymond stat sheet stuffer. This was not a normal 12, 9, and 7. It had everything from Draymond. It had defensively setting the tone early, and it had nailing the game-winning three-pointer late, and everything in between. This was one of his better games of the season, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, he is absolutely. There's a lot of talk for obvious reasons about Steph for a month playing like peak Steph, and he is. Draymond is playing like peak Draymond too. The difference is it's defensive, so people don't notice and talk about it as much. That block he had at the rim, was it on Cade? I forget who it was on. He looks like defensive player of the year Draymond Green, and I'm not going to cast any aspersions, but let's just say he looks even more like defensive player of the year Draymond Green since Victor Wembanyama went out. He wants that award, and I think he knows this is probably his last chance with that 7'6" French freak in San Antonio, hopefully playing in future seasons. So he wants it. He is just tearing people apart out there. His one-on-one defense is as good as ever, but the teamwork between him and Jimmy defensively in the passing lanes, just wreaking havoc on what opposing offenses are doing, is an incredible thing to watch. There just are you don't often get two guys who operate at that level defensively in terms of team defense on the same team. There just haven't been that many historically to have them on the same team. So it's really something special. And, you know, tonight was as much about the defense that kept them in the game for 3 quarters as anything.
The only thing that I guess the only bone to pick with Draymond would be wanting to challenge everything. After every single play, one of these, and we saw it late in the game, he's yelling all ball, yelling some expletives. The mic picks it up, and then you see the coaching staff behind, it's probably some analysts back there behind Steve Kerr, and they're like, no. Are they saying don't challenge it? Like, are they telling
100%.
Draymond off? Yeah,
it's not about Draymond. That to me that's not, look, actually, I think relative to some dudes, Draymond has a decent record of like spinning the finger and getting it right.
Early in the season, yes, not lately.
That's not his job, though. His job is to believe in himself and back himself. Like, it's not up to him. He doesn't get to decide. Steve Kerr gets to decide, and clearly there's a guy sitting behind the bench whose job it is to look at a replay and say, don't challenge. He said don't challenge, so don't challenge. That's why the system's in place. You ignored your own system for telling you not to challenge. That is not Draymond's fault. That said, he was wrong. He was definitely wrong. He fouled that dude, and I get it. He hit all ball first, but when you slide off onto the arm and club someone on the arm in a layup, it's a foul. So you're right. That was a wacky moment. But it's a process breakdown somewhere between that coach and Steve Kerr. Like, if the coach is going, don't challenge. It's not that complicated as far as I'm concerned. Draymond's, the defense is unbelievable. And that shot, I texted you, like, I don't quite know how to put it, but for guys that don't shoot it that well, Draymond is way up near the top of the list of people I want to have a big shot to take. Like, usually you want your best shooters in that spot, but I'll take Draymond in that spot over some pretty good shooters just because he loves that moment, man. He loves that moment. He loves being that guy. He loves being the reason you win.
Jimmy Butler, huge reason why the Warriors are winning all these games. And one Jimmy. You like that nickname after the 2 and 1s in a row? Great pass from Post on that give and go action for one of the and ones, and then one was a circus shot that he hit off the window, and you could tell at that point he's like, all right, I'm home. We're good. Let's start taking some shots, being less passive. I mean, he took 17 shots today. I would imagine that's up there for his most in a Warriors uniform. The 4 threes, 1,000%. Yeah, but you could tell today was one of those days he knew Steph didn't have it. I mean, it was pretty apparent early that Steph was going to fight for 32 points. Dude, that's crazy. Steph, he didn't have it, yet he had 32 points in the game. 12 of them coming from the line. But, I mean, that's just Steph Curry right now. He's averaging well over 30 in the past month. So he's been incredible. But the Butler 26-9-5 stat sheet had great passing, just good energy, always makes the right play. When he gets it on the post, I think that's where he's most dangerous, down on the block. I mean, he's just always making the right pass out of the post. I think, speaking of post, it's great that someone like Quentin Post and Brandon Pajmsky and some of these young guys, Moody, get to learn from Butler because you can hear him on the court. He's such a coach out there. Yeah. He was coaching up Moses a little. And
that's what some guys don't like. But luckily, I think Draymond already scared most of the dudes who don't like that out of town. So,
it, right? Yeah.
So everyone's ready for that kind of teammate. I will also add to your list of dudes from tonight that it was another really good night for Moses Moody on a night when he wasn't shooting it well. And I think we are seeing, look, he's not going to get 36 on the regular. That's with Pajmsky out, Kuminga out, etc. But when Moses Moody plays 25 plus minutes, he's going to find a way to help. You know, sometimes the three is falling, sometimes it's not, and he has started to be aggressive, attacking the rim, getting to the free throw line. He is not a guy that can stay in front of a quick offensive player, but he can defend big. So, like, I thought he was a huge part of Cade Cunningham struggling for a lot of the game tonight. Is if you're not going to beat Moses Moody with a quick first step, he's a hard guy to get past. And he plays really smart, solid defense. Had a few steals tonight, including a big one down the stretch, just showing that if he plays regularly, he can affect the game in a lot of ways.
In the Cade Cunningham struggles, obviously, the 9 turnovers, part of the Pistons' 20 in the game. Because shooting-wise, 10 of 17, 2 of 3 from deep, 9 of 10 from the charity stripe. That's another thing Cunningham can do. This is someone that's averaging, I think, 25, 9, and 6 right now. Everyone talks about Shea. Everyone talks about list goes on and on of young players that are priming to be the face of the league. But Cunningham, I mean, if he's not first team All-NBA in the next few years, he's going to be second. Like, he's an All-NBA player.
He's great. But, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The first half, he was 2 of 7 with, 7 points and 3 turnovers, and a lot of that was with Moses Moody on him.
Had that big third quarter. Yeah,
he had a huge third quarter because he is a really, as you say, a great young player. But overall, the Warriors did a pretty good, nice job on him, I would say, and Moses Moody was a big part of that.
All right, I want to get into the Steph Curry, Isaiah Stewart, also a little Brandon Pajmsky sighting. We both had the same. We both had the same commentary from Pajmsky on the floor today. Let's discuss all the ancillary pieces to what was a big Warriors 115-110 win.
Forget that. We champs. Why are you starting with that question? We got 4 championships.
All right, today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Let me tell you a little bit about America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss opening tip-off or even if you start watching the game with about 2 minutes left in the game, you can put action on it. If you're looking for a bigger payout, you can also combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using the live bet feature, quite frankly, because of what we saw the other night when the Warriors were down by 20. Help me out with who they were even playing, Kolsky. It's been that much of an adrenaline rush.
Down by 20.
It was literally yesterday.
It wasn't literally yesterday. Literally yesterday was an off day.
The
I do know
and
that.
Listeners know what I was talking about. But anyways, we got to get on with the ad read. But that's what I love doing. When the Warriors are down 20 against a very inferior team, you come back and you win. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. The answer was the Brooklyn Nets.
Back
Nets, to
yeah.
the show.
And most importantly, he a dog.
We need more dogs.
All right, so let's start with let's go with Pajmsky on the bench today. Did I see green gym shorts? Was that right?
Yeah, sartorial excellence from Brandon Pajmsky.
Can I ask you this, man?
Yeah.
What happened to the NBA dress code? Because I remember growing up, that was the big talk in town. It was suit and ties if you're not playing in the game or when you arrive to the contest. And where the hell and when the hell did that thing flip?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what the answer to your question is,
It was
other
never
than that.
implemented?
No, it was implemented, but it was implemented largely. What's the most delicate way to say this? I think David Stern was concerned that some of the
Allen Iverson, right?
well, again, I'm trying to be delicate, but I think David Stern was concerned that some of the clothing choices of guys who were out were scaring some of the older, less melanated fans of the NBA. And I think it was a misguided dress code that at some point went by the wayside. I don't know exactly when.
So green gym shorts flow.
Yeah, because Brandon Pajmsky, look, green gym shorts. He's got the really like thick plastic 80s style glasses. He's doing stuff, and I respect it. I mean, I'm a person that respects weird style choices.
He's dealing with a little lower back injury right now. Hopefully nothing that extends itself, but missed his, I guess you could say, second game in a row after he played just about a minute against Brooklyn. All right, to the meat and potatoes. We saved it for the very end. Isaiah Stewart, Steph Curry. The beef stew. We saved it late. The push. Straight up push. Curry gets up in Stewart's face and says, "What the hell, dude? Not cool." Like, they get a double T. I mean, what's Curry getting a technical for in that? They said he instigated it, or he kept the
escalated.
Going.
I am absolutely flabbergasted that a referee had the unmitigated gall to look right in the camera and say Steph Curry escalated the conflict when a player on the bench got up out of his seat and pushed a player on the floor. Now, look, it's not like he tried to hurt him or anything. It was generally harmless, but like Steph Curry's just supposed to let a guy get off the bench and push him and say nothing? I don't understand. Like, that was, man, if that had actually cost them in the game, I would have lost my mind, because that is one of the most ultimately unimpactful, insane referee decisions I've ever seen.
You want to talk about a Hall of Fame whistle that Steph Curry, I mean, we hear the
Where is
about
it
all the time. He doesn't get that Hall of Fame whistle.
No.
There was a 3 earlier in the game he got hammered on 2 that they didn't call. But Stewart averages 5 and 5 and has the audacity. He's 23 years old, has the audacity to get up in Curry's face and just push it for no reason at all. Like, I find it hard to believe that Steph was instigating something with the bench.
No, you saw he was cheering for his teammate. He was doing an and one thing. I don't even remember who scored. It was on Guy's crazy play. That's what it was. Guy made that incredible play, Steph and one. And yes, he was near the Pistons bench, but guys, your bench is near the floor. Sometimes players are near it. You're not allowed to get up and push them, no matter what just happened. Like, it was such a clear-cut, absurd behavior by Beef Stew, who frankly is known for like, if that had been, who's the right example? I don't even know. No one in the NBA is really clear. But if that had been Nikola Jokic somehow, okay, I'm prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt. But Isaiah Stewart is a known crazy person who did a crazy thing. And you're like, we're just going to give we're going to give Wardell Stephen Curry the second a technical foul as well. How dare you? Ridiculous.
Disgusting. What is ridiculous in a good way is that the Warriors have now won 4 straight games. There was the streak in November where they could not win anything. It was 2 games of winning streaks and then 3 games of losing streaks. Gone are those days. They followed up a 5-game winning streak with the loss to Philly and have immediately gone into a 4-game winning streak and a chance to push it to 5 with the Portland Trail Blazers. That game is on Monday. Make the commitment now. Will I see you after the Portland game on Monday night, Kolsky?
You will. And let me just say, that's a big trap game because, like I said, the 4 games after it are 4 of the toughest ones they have left. And Portland, although generally bad, is playing a lot better over the last month or 2. So lock in on Monday, and we'll be here for postgame.
And lock on for the Locked On Warriors post game. Matt Kolsky, Chuck Walter, Golden State Warriors.
Let's
Red hot,
go.
baby. Red hot.
Let's
Enjoy your
go.
Saturday night, your Sunday morning, or if it's the weekday, get ready for Portland. We'll talk to you soon. Peace, everyone.
If it's the weekday, I'm sorry. We apologize.
Damn it.